What's up, guys? Welcome to another YouTube, Twitch recording, I'm going to say, because I did this one live. So Twitchers, feel free to say hi to the YouTubers, and the YouTube comments definitely can reply to the guys on Twitch. So what this video is basically going to cover, if you didn't already look at the title above, is Vault of Heavens. And I've got this one way too much as a request of what I think of it. And I'm honestly just going over it because it might confuse you. Bunch of numbers, bunch of text. What does that all mean? So yeah, let's jump into that and look at it right here. Alright folks, so Vault of Heavens is technically something new that's come into the latest update, even though we haven't, as of this being released, technically haven't entered, and no one's entered Vault of Heavens yet, but it will happen now. So I think the timing of this is appropriate. I'm going to give you guys all my thoughts, so sit back and definitely enjoy that. Alright guys, so Vault of Heaven. Vault of Heaven is basically the upgrade to Aether Raids, I guess, finally, after like two and a half, 3 years almost since Aether Raids has come out. And that is finally the time to earn 8 more Grails, okay? 8 more Grails, yep, that's right. You go from tier 27, tier 10, tier 28, all the way up to tier 38, and you're going to get 8 more Grails, okay? Yeah, 8 more Grails. So, is that worth it? Well, technically speaking, there hasn't really been an increase in Grails since Aether Raids came out and the whole Grail system in general. We've gotten like tons of units since its release, but realistically, 8 Grails is only about a 7-8% increase on total Grails, which is, I mean, that's not too bad. I guess you get 1 extra merge over the span of a year. Yeah, that's basically the reward structure there. But the thing that's interesting about Vault of Heavens, if you're not already familiar with it, is it's gonna kind of like segregate the coasters of tier 21 and people who actually play the game or Aether Raids in general. So what that means is, like, if you've been playing tier 21 Aether Raids and just been playing it weekly just for your rewards and doing auto dispatch, well, that's not going to be good enough in Vault of Heavens. You're actually going to have to play the game and try to actually succeed to hit tier 38. Now, the thing is, it's not that difficult. You can actually get by with pretty low-ish merges on your mythics, as long as your defense is good enough to prevent lift loss that would get you out of tier 38. So the system is fundamentally the same to go from like tier 21 to tier 27 all the time, except this time, if you don't make tier 38 in the vault, you get reset back to tier 23. So it'll make your trip back into it. Well, so it's kind of like floating between the vault and outside of it. So kind of like a tier 20.5, but in Aether Raids, and you can choose to like chill and play auto dispatch between the two two areas now, or you can just go for tier 38 and have what should be a more competitive environment. And I'm going to put quotes on this, on competitive environment, because the thing is, even though this has been introduced, some mechanics have been changed in Aether Raids recently, and if you already know what that is, that's basically, as of like book 5, technically Aether Raids allows you, as long as you have a bonus mythic, to allow the death of a single unit on your team. So that has actually made Aether Raids, especially defense, a lot harder, and I'm going to get into this in more detail, but basically, if you are allowed, like, you can essentially sacrifice a unit and then clean up a team. And that's actually a strategy now that works and isn't punished. However, in Vault of Heavens, you do get a bonus, a benefit for keeping your whole team alive, and that's only 10 lift. So the gap has changed a lot. Before, you would lose 40 lift for sacrificing a unit. That actually would make a difference between people in separate rankings, and then book 5 came out, and then you don't really have much between the people who sacrifice and don't. You literally don't have a difference. And now with Vault, if you keep everyone alive, you get a 10 lift difference. So technically, skill matters a little bit in making sure you don't sacrifice your units, and there is a little bit of a gap there from people who sacrifice and don't. But realistically, it's not that much, guys. It's not that much. So at least it's something. I'm going to appreciate them at least giving a bonus for people who play well versus people who don't. My opinion on this, of course, is going to follow up to it on what I think generally what's happened with book 5 and what I expect to happen in Vault and how you can kind of prepare yourself for that. Not really going to go through like unit builds or anything like that. Definitely look at the other videos or join discussions on Twitch and Discord to kind of get more in the know-how of like things that work or will lead to more success. But realistically, like, This is not as good as it may seem at first impression. I'm just going to be pretty critical about it. So thing is, it should segregate the players, and I think that's good mostly for competitive players and people who coast. So if you've been coasting, now when you play your match casually, you shouldn't run into people who are basically always in the vault, and you can play more comfy games, auto dispatch, just play games that should be with generally people who aren't tryharding as much. That's good. And technically, theoretically speaking, those that are in the vault should be playing against the ones that are in the vault as well, and therefore your matches are higher quality, and people shouldn't be like sacrificing units or using unoptimized comps, in theory. The reason I don't think this will be the case is because people will coast between both tiers, and then they're just going to drop out when they're in the vault, therefore they're going to play lazily or don't care, and that's going to kind of take away the quality of some of the games, at least early in the season, and maybe some at the end of the season will be a bit better. I think of this kind of like as like a reset to Ether raids, too many people there, and therefore like I'm just going to appreciate that there's a bonus 10 lift for playing well. That's a good thing. You should be able to make a difference that isn't just all mythic merges, okay? Let me know. Pause right now and let me know if this happens to you, okay? Watch. How many times does this happen to you? And now it's even more common, okay? How many times does this happen to you? You literally are in the same day and you get somebody who basically doesn't play well, sacrifices a unit, finishes the game, and then you get a replay later that says success. This happens all the time, but the thing is, I feel this is even more common now, so yeah, the thing is, that guy there who has a failure didn't actually lose any points for playing unoptimally, and I feel that's not really great as like from a competitive spirit. That's not that great. The guy above also lost a single unit, and then also like he basically didn't finish out his match. But the thing is, the difference here is that the one on the top lost a key unit, couldn't close out his match, and the one on the bottom basically sacrificed a unit with a misplay and then just finished up his game. So the thing is, obviously I'm not listing anyone, but there's plenty of players like this, and designing defenses basically means you got to make sure you hit people fast and hard. So referring to the other like defense mentality video, essentially to win, you got to crush your opponent. You can't just like kill a single unit, you actually have to crush them and make sure you capitalize on their mistakes. So Vault of Heavens is technically, it should kind of de-incentivize people losing a unit, but the thing is, it's only a 10 lift gap, and I don't feel like that's enough. I feel like we've gone from minus 40 from people losing units, and now we're just at plus, like the gap is 10. So I don't think that's good enough, and that's my biggest critique on Vault of Heavens. I sincerely hope that they do follow up on this change, and obviously they noticed it because it went from literally one foe is defeated and nothing happened to you get a bonus, and that's cool, and we're changing, like segregating the community. That's my take on this. It happens all the time. It's unfortunate, but generally defense design is crush your opponents now. So that's what it is. One thing I want to mention though, and if you've been playing AR, you'll know that inflation has hit pretty hard because of these changes and this leeway. So we've had recently like a great Astra Mythics banner, and on that Astra Mythics banner, people have gotten a lot of Astra Mythic merges and then can play sloppily like this, which is unfortunate, and then rank and score almost equally to people who play perfectly. You can play sloppily and not get punished for it, and that I feel is a mistake. It shouldn't be a thing that's allowed, unfortunately, and I'm going to refer to basically the thing with AR right now in its current state is that it's like whoever has the most mythic merges, and that isn't really competitive overall, and I don't really feel like Vault of Heavens will change that overall. That's my take on this. And just to kind of like reflect on where AR has come and where we are now, AR, you used to be able to rank, score, and basically play at a high level that didn't account for merges on such a high weight because you got punished for misplays. There wasn't as many escape ladder charges, their mythics weren't as good, and you obviously didn't rank with people who didn't play as well. Like if you would be above them in rankings, and therefore you wouldn't have to worry about your rankings as much, even if you had a low amount of mythic merges, because someone else decided to, play like that. So just to like reflect on it completely, I'm talking literally about a year and a half ago. This was like my rankings, okay? I had perfect seasons, and then other people did not have perfect seasons, and therefore I could pretty easily get into. This was only about a year and a half ago. It's not even that long ago. Before Double Up happened on Lift, before obviously even Peony was introduced, I believe. This was pretty much how you could actually get to AR, which didn't matter so much on Mythic Merges. It mattered, but it didn't matter as much. So this was light season. I had a +10 air, which helped a lot to get to that front page, but it ultimately came down to the skill level as opposed to who just had more merges. And that's what really stings right now between Vault to Heavens, between sacking units and such. Like, I don't think even with this change, I'm going to end up anywhere close to this. And I feel like more on skill should matter as opposed to who just has a bigger wallet. Finally, and of course, even looking back further, I believe this was Astra season before even Naga, or maybe it did have Naga. I actually don't even remember. Yeah, I think this was like without Naga. So this was like a situation where I think we had Duma as the only anima thing. So even back then, you'd basically like AR before even Mythics at that point, where they weren't contributing additional score. So all of that was pretty much how you could see the difference between players in a sense. So I guess that's how I'm going to sum up what I think of Vault to Heavens. I hope that maybe you can take something from this. Maybe I feel it's good. It's a change in the right direction, but I don't think it's going to be enough. So hopefully you guys do enjoy what is to come through Vault to Heavens, but I wouldn't really stress about it. And if you've been playing casually, then it's a good change for you. If you've been playing competitively, it's a good change, a step in the right direction, but I don't really think it's enough at the end of the day. And hopefully there's more good things to come, maybe through the anniversary. With that being said, folks, thank you for watching. Give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one.